Okay, guys, welcome to the first ever, and this might be the only ever EWF Draft. We're about to separate our roster onto these two brands, whether it's going to be part of Monday Night War or you're going to end up over on Saturday Night Skirmish. It's definitely going to be the biggest impact in everybody's career so far in the company. We have four men already placed on these brands over on Monday Night War. We have our world champion, Brian Nash, and our intercontinental champion, um, Ricky Brown. Sorry about that. I had a small little lapse there. And then secondly, over on Skirmish, we have our world champion, or should I say heavyweight champion. He is referring to himself as the Palestinian heavyweight champion, Kirby, and of course the TV champion, the man who wanted that belt, wanted to give him a shot at a world title to go after it, ended up going that route anyways and won and became our first ever EWF TV champion. So, guys, let's we're about to get things underway, but let's go through real quick and see, look down the roster, see who's going to be drafted here tonight. If you see the two men on the screen, these are your two men that will be drafting for our brands tonight. Shane McMahon will be representing War, whereas Sting here tonight will be representing the brand of Skirmish. So, Sting, of course, a former WCW legend, one of the few men Vince McMahon couldn't get to join WWE back in the day. So maybe a surprise to see him here in the EWF helping us out for this evening. But before we actually get to the official draft, let's look through the roster real fast, see who have ready to get drafted on these shows. So let's go ahead and jump in. And of course, the women will not be drafted, but there's our lovely women's champion, Alexia Cruz. We got Colin Morgan right there. Adam Quinn, Colin Morgan, of course, one half of the tag team champions. Adam Quinn, a impressive young rookie. We have got Alex Tyson, one half of Foreign Affairs. Aaron Wilson, a promising young star, has had a rough of going of late in his early EWF career, but he can very easily turn around for him. Brent Ryder has struggled here in the EWF, had a great EXW career. XCW career. And, he has struggled, though, since he came and only picked up one win in 6 matches. So, it has been pretty rough in the early goings, but you never know what it takes to turn around. This guy was a 5-time champion over in XCW. He could do the same thing here, but he cannot be wrestling the way he has been. Brian Nash, of course, will not be drafted here tonight. He is your EWF World Champion. CJ Lyons was very close, made it to that Elite Eight, couldn't get to the finals, could not compete for the title at the pay-per-view, but of course has been very impressive since he has been here in the EWF and of course in XCW Original. Chris Cassidy making his return here tonight. I'm just looking over the chat here real quick. Welcome to the Danger Zone and D. Morgan and Colin Morgan here. Jordan Alexander in the house. Nick Nitro as well. Super Headbuster in the chat too. As I said real quick, Chris Cassidy make his return. We had an exit from the company. Cassidy, who was a XCW superstar, did not come to the EWF to begin with, but he is making his return and will be debuting. It's going to be, interesting to see where he falls because he has not actually competed yet, but he's officially on our roster now. Clown Danger, this man is a little bit of insanity, a little bit of fun. Everything, kind of combined here between this man. Let's see, we got Dallas Morgan, one half of the tag team champions. Saw his brother Colin earlier. This man, I want to say Don Juan. It's Dan Juan, Dizzle Dan Juan. Interesting that he has decided to change things up a little bit. I believe he's still part of the Wrecking Crew. So I don't know exactly if all these groups can survive. Can the Vigilantes survive on one show? Can all the Wrecking Crew end up on one show? I don't know if that's going to happen or if we're going to end up splitting up these guys. Okay, there's Demon. He fought against Nash in what was an embarrassing match, but he was undefeated heading into that match, so nobody expected Demon to go down that quick. Deshaun, along with his partner Rashad, they will be drafted as a team later tonight, but very impressive in XCW. Had a rough start after having a great start, and is for opening back here in EWF. Of course, we got Eve, very lovely diva. But of course, Steve is not being drafted here. Jacob Davis, surprising first victory, beating Jackson Jordan in his debut. Since then, hasn't been able to pick up a win. But an interesting young man. Some people refer to him as Chris Generico. Let's see, we got Jake Watson, one half of Foreign Affairs. Jackson Jordan, a member of the Wrecking Crew, has ever since getting screwed in that first match against Jacob Davis, Jackson Jordan has turned it all up around. Jay, a newcomer, debuted at our pay-per-view. Jay McGregor, up and down, had a great win over Chris Cryptic and Brent Reiner in the second week, but that's really his biggest highlight here in the company. We've got Jordan Alexander. This man had a shot to earn this special, not prize, but the special ability, the special thing here tonight, which I will reveal right before the draft starts what Tyrant has won by defeating Jordan, what Jordan would have won had he won that match at our pay-per-view. But, of course, Jordan dropping a bombshell at the end of our show. The Wolfpack has been detonated, destroyed, disbanded. I cannot believe it. So now, there's not the worry of these guys ending up on the same show, but what is the fallout from this? What's going to happen with this man who kind of was the leader of this Wolfpack, brought them all together, and I don't know what's going to happen now. Of course, former member of the Wolfpack, still a part of this roster. We've got KC, the man who fell just short against Kirby at our pay-per-view, was fighting for a world title. Very interesting to see how high and where he goes. Chris Cryptic had a shot at the TV title, fell just short against Sammy Danger. Both these men back-to-back lost to those two men who are now over on Skirmish. Who does everyone think I will get drafted first, says Jackson Jordan. Sean Cia says me. Okay, here we go. Keep going. Matt Morgan, people call him Little Cena, but he has competed well and done well, even though he maybe doesn't look like much, but he has done well. Mo just debuted, did not get the win. He and one of the other men in his match just fought outside the ring the entire time in his fatal four-way match in his debut at the pay-per-view. Kirby, of course, our champion, is slated to be on Skirmish. MV3, a young up-and-coming superstar, has never really, his debut was really his biggest moment, and ever since then hadn't had really that shining moment. Maybe he can do that here in the EWF. Nitro, of course, a former Intercontinental champion in XCW. Interesting to see he hadn't done anything here in the EWF. Will his past success and allegiances maybe push him higher up in the draft, or is this guy going to kind of free fall? We don't know what's going to happen there. Rage, brand new, lost in that fatal four-way match, but it was an all-out war between him and Emmanuel C in a few minutes. Trey Savage, great match. It was kind of a 2-on-2 match. Two different singles matches happened at the same time. One outside the ring, one inside the ring in that fatal four-way. But Rage did put on a good match, just couldn't survive. Rashad Johnson, one half of a tag team with Deshaun Johnson. Ricky Brown, of course, over on War already. Rob Visor hasn't done much this year. So disappointed. I thought he was going to do a little bit more, but we'll see. Will he suffer, fall down the draft because he hasn't done much? Shane Thomas. This man was so close to becoming our first Intercontinental champion, but fell to the man who shocked us all after his match by joining the Wrecking Crew. So Shane Thomas, can he bounce back? Maybe come back, go straight into championship matches? I don't know. This guy's definitely been impressive in his time in XCW. MV3, the real Divas champ. Draft about to start, Cryptic. Yes, draft is about to start. Just running through the roster real fast so I can let everybody know who is going to be there. And I can FX Klein. Well, Sammy, you got to end up on the same show. If Klein Danger gets drafted over onto Skirmish, it'll probably happen pretty quick. If he gets on War, it might be a long time before you have a chance to face Clown Danger. Okay, this man right here is Trey Savage. Had a great fatal four-way match. Pulled out the victory of the four newcomers. Very impressed with what he could do thus far. Tyrant, this man is undefeated here in the EWF. Was not here for the first week. Was not entitled consideration. Otherwise, this man just might have been becoming one of our world or heavyweight champions. Instead, he got kind of shut out, but ran through each and every member of the roster that he has faced thus far. Crushed Jacob Davis in his second week to avenge what happened to Jackson Jordan. Went on to eventually beat Jordan Alexander to earn the special prize, which we're just moments away from learning about. So let's keep going. But Tyrant definitely looking high as well. And last but not last is Zach Zero, a former. He has been in a lot of matches, had a shot to take the belt off of CJ in XCW. Couldn't get it done. CJ had a great into his XCW career and a great start, just kind of tailed off in the last couple of weeks. But Zach Zero has been up and down, usually down, but he has had his shining moments of earning championship matches on a couple occasions. So what can Zero do now here in the EWF? Can he? He's only wrestled one match here. Kind of had to take a few weeks off. Might be back very soon, but Zach Zero definitely an interesting find late in the draft. Maybe mid draft. I don't know. Maybe there's a sneak. Somebody pulls it out, thinks he's going to do something, and goes early in the draft. But if I missed you, then I'm sorry. Right, I skipped right over you. Sammy Danger. Sammy Danger, though, will not be actually drafted. Sammy Danger is on Skirmish because he won the TV championship belt. So the TV champion and the heavyweight champion are on the same show over on Skirmish, and of course our World Intercontinental over on. Okay, and I believe that is our entire roster. So as we get ready here, as you can see on the left side we have Shane McMahon. He will be drafting for War. On the right side we have Sting. He will be drafting for his show as well. It's gonna be interesting to see how this goes down because I don't know if it's gonna work out. Will there be any animosity between these two men? Exactly how this is going to go down, but we'll see because this is an interesting developments. Because to get to the prize, okay, we're about to start in just moments, just a couple moments. We're going to get things underway. But what's going to happen is Tyrant. When Tyrant is selected, Tyrant, his special ability is he will not get to protect himself, won't get to choose which show he's on. What he will do is the pick after Tyrant is selected, he will get to actually steal the pick for the other show. He will draft for the other show. He will take the pick away. If he gets drafted to Skirmish, he will draft for Shane McMahon. Whoever he wants to put on the other roster, he can do so. He can push one of his wrecking crew up early in the draft, maybe try to get them after both world titles. He could put somebody that he wants to get rid of. He can do anything he wants to. He can try to sabotage the other team. He can take the worst guy he thinks on the roster and make it their first pick. He could do whatever he wanted to. As long as he is drafted, he gets to choose the next pick for the opposing team. So it's a big advantage for whichever team takes Tyrant. But at the same time, the question is, whoever takes Tyrant's got to deal with the wrecking crew. At the very least, Tyrant has been strong. So if you don't want him as your champion, I don't know if you want to pick Tyrant early on, guys. I'm now a two-time champion, one time in XCW, now one in EWF. Yes, Sammy Danger talking about his U.S. title reign over, I think it was Shocked Everybody when he won that U.S. title in that six-man Hell in a Cell way back near the start of XCW. John T says, war with what? King Just Believe says, war, 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 war. It's war time. I don't know what he's talking about. Okay, guys, let's get this one underway. Hopefully, everybody is in the chat because we're getting this one started now. I don't know. Is Tyrant in the chat? Does anybody know if Tyrant's here? Because whenever he gets picked, I want him to be able to use his ability. Now, he has. I have contacted him, and we have found out who he would choose to draft for his first few options, so that if he gets picked, that way. I'm just wondering if he's in the chat. I have not noticed him thus far. So let's get things underway. Let's go ahead and start. Okay, guys. Shane McMahon for War is going to pick first. Of course, the War roster thus far is Brian Nash and Ricky Brown. And so Shane wants to make a strong roster. Okay, he is here. He's here. Okay. Shane wants to make a roster. He wants to pick the man he thinks is the next big thing. He feels this guy is, he has been biding his time. This guy's had shots in the past to become great, but he's never pulled through with them. And, I think almost anybody would have chosen Brian Nash, but Brian Nash, of course, too good, became a world champion, can't be drafted. So with Nash taken and seeing what's left, I mean, there's a lot of talent on this roster, but Shane McMahon is definitely 100% having to go with the man with the advantage Tyrant is going to be his first draft pick, a member of the Wrecking Crew. That puts 2 members of the Wrecking Crew over on War. So Tyrant is your number 1 overall draft pick. And I feel bad here. I feel bad because Shane knew this. Not only was he a mastermind behind this, he knew. I mean, would he have taken Jordan Alexander if he had won that match? I don't know. Maybe he would have on purpose, because now Tyrant gets to choose his opponent. He gets to choose the first draft pick, the very first draft pick, over for Skirmish. So we've got Kirby, we've got Sammy Danger, and let's go ahead and make it official here. We're going to draft him here. Tyrant, our first draft pick over here. Shane McMahon taking him. Look at that. Shane McMahon's man right there, one right off the bat. Hashtag that number 1 pick, though. So the question is, who is Skirmish's number 1 pick? I would be going to ask Sting himself. I'd be asking the man, who his general manager is going to choose. But instead, no, we're not going to Sting. We're going to the chat box, because the man Tyrant is actually going to pick the first pick for Skirmish. So we gotta look at the chat box, guys. This isn't me choosing. This is Tyrant choosing over in the chat box. We're getting this thrown out of the way early. We're getting this one done. So let's go over here to Custom Superstars. Who is Sting's first pick going to be? Who's going to Skirmish to fight with Kirby, to go fight with Sammy Danger? I love my hater, says Wrecking Crew. And apparently he's choosing Brent Ryder, which that's not who he told me he was picking first. So that is very shocking to me. I did not expect that. I don't know. I guess. I think I know what's going on here. Okay, officially he's choosing Brent Ryder, and I'm shocked by this. And I think the biggest reason why he chooses Brent Ryder here, guys, is I think he wants to break up the Vigilantes, because officially now, if Brent Ryder is the first pick for the other team, Brian Nash is over there on War, Brent Ryder on Skirmish. That officially is breaking up 3. They can't all end up on the same show now. I mean, Cryptic will end up with one of these 2 shows, but that officially is splitting this duo. That might be good for Nash. Ryder had a little bit of animosity with him near the end, but okay, that's not what I was expecting. I'm seriously shocked here, guys, because that was not who I thought was going to get picked. Wow, okay. That throws me off, too, because I'd probably thought about who was going to be my next pick if who I knew who was Tyrant was going to pick, but now I've got to think about this. Shane McMahon now going, I don't know, there's a lot of members of the roster left, but throwing him for a loop. Okay, Brent Ryder gone, Tyrant gone, and you know what? We got to go with this. This guy has been extremely impressive, and we've already got Tyrant and XCW Original. We've already got Brian Nash at XCW Original. And, I think that War needs some more XCW Original blood. So, I don't know. This is a pretty high pick. I think this guy has been really good, really great. And War is going to pick. I think this is a great pick for War. War, our second pick for War, Shane McMahon is going to pick a former member of what used to be known as the Wolfpack. He is going to pick CJ Lyons, second overall pick for War. So that's the second official pick for War, CJ Lyons, guys. This man has really proved himself at the end of XCW. Sammy Danger wants to join the Vigilante. If you need an extra Vigilante, just come find me in the locker room. Super Headbuster apparently shocked by that. Jacob Davis here. Jacob Davis has not been selected yet, West Dog. We are on our third pick overall. So now Sting, the man who thought he was going to have that first pick, I don't think he would have selected Brent Ryder. I think he's shocked by this. Brent Ryder, of course, has been a big member of the XCW. He's been there nearly from the beginning, not quite an XCW original. But now it is the second pick for the roster for Sting, for Skirmish. They're really their first pick. So the question is now, who are they going to pick up? Who's going to be the first real pick for Skirmish? Tyrant, CJ over on War. And we got Brent Ryder, and now who's it going to be? Let me converse with Sting, find out what his pick is. Okay, the pick is in. I've officially been given the pick, and the pick is, and we're really going with some longtime XCW members. This, again, though, apparently, the other show seems to be the originals. This seems to be the guys that came in not quite at the beginning, some of them even quite late in the XCW's, lifespan in that first year. But this man, I've already passed him, really gave it a shot. A former world champion, and this officially breaks up the Wrecking Crew. Jackson Jordan being drafted over onto Skirmish. I'm surprised by this. Jackson Jordan really is a very good pick, and ever since getting screwed in the first week, he really has turned it on, including beating one of his arch nemesis, the man who was drafted by his own stablemate, thrown over onto Skirmish as Brent Ryder. Now Jackson Jordan pulled onto the show. I wonder if this general manager is taking a shot back at the fact that he is maybe trying to throw the entire company into chaos. So the other manager maybe decided, what, I'm going to take your best ally and screw you over for trying to just send me maybe a guy I didn't want for my pick. I don't know exactly what Sting is thinking, but right there, Jackson Jordan, hashtag Skirmish just got wrecked, says Jackson Jordan. So officially, the Wolfpack broke up before tonight, but at least in some capacity, the Vigilantes and Wrecking Crew have had to split. Jackson Jordan entirely on different shows. Brent Ryder, Brian Nash on different shows. That just means we're taking over, says Super Headbuster. So now we're moving on to the third pick for War. 2 men down, quite a few to go. Let's go ahead and look over that list one more time. Shane thinking it over, seeing what is left. Okay, he's going to go, I don't know, he's a lot of good picks left, a lot of good picks. I think that he is going to go, yeah, Shane is coming. Okay, he's coming with his pick. Shane, now on his third pick, he is going with a former Intercontinental Champion, a man who had a chance to win another belt at our pay-per-view. He's going with men that have proven themselves in the ring, whether it was an XCW or done it here as well. Obviously not a champion here in the draft, but very well has proven himself in the past. I don't think he's in the chat here tonight. But we're going with maybe a surprise pick for some, but personally, not too surprised that this is a pick. This guy is in the ring, no matter what anybody else can say about him, has done very well, and that is Shane Thomas. Shane Thomas being drafted over to War. Shane Thomas in the ring has been extremely impressive over his career. He has beaten the likes of many XCW and EWF superstars. Shane Thomas, the official third pick of War. Now we're going back over to Sting, find out what his counter is going to be. Who is going to be that third man over on his show? I mean, there are so many members left of the roster. We have got some new guys like Adam Quinn, some guys like Demon. We've got guys like Jay Mo, Rage, Straight Savage, Jay McGregor, Zach Zero. Some classic guys like Jason Alexander, Chris Cryptic, KC. Tag teams like Foreign Affairs, Deshaun and Ratshot Johnson, KC and Dallas and Colin Morgan, and even more. But I mean, I don't know what his next pick is. I'm gonna converse with him real fast, find out, bring it to you guys real quick. What's gonna be? Let's see what the chat is saying though, as I ask him who he's gonna pick. Hashtags for all, says Jackson Jordan. Shantia looks like 50 Tyson. Okay, looks like we've got their next pick in. Can I confirm that pick one more time? Sting, I'm converging one more time. Let me make sure, double sure that I heard this correct. Okay. I think it's a good pick. If for some reason I ever say something wrong, Sting can correct me. Okay, the third pick over on Skirmish, and I kind of splitting up the band once again. This is really like splitting these down the middle. If this group wanted to get back together, it's not going to be as easy now because Jason Alexander. Sorry, God, I don't know why I keep saying that. Jordan Alexander. I guess because I'm looking at my screen. I'm looking at my screen here, and it says Jackson Jordan. So I don't know. Just it's not right in my head. Jordan Alexander. Now, this man has been in the thorn of the side for a long time of Tyrant, but now he is on the opposing show. Still can be in the thorn and the side of Jackson Jordan, but Jordan and A1, aka now known as Jordan Alexander, have not really seen eye to eye, but it doesn't have to be as quite as heated as the matches between Tyrant and Alexander, but they're now separated, different shows. This is interesting to see what the fallout's going to be now. Wrecking Crew Gaming, I know you are obsessed with me, but you can't have me, so get off my back. Oh, you keep messing with me, they're going to have to call in the first 48 to find you. Do I? We'll see about that, Lead Wolfie. We'll see about that. I don't want to talk about it out loud since you're asking me, I think, privately, but we'll discuss that maybe after the draft. We still got a lot of draft left to go. Fourth pick now over for the EWF on War. Let's see who is left. This is a tough pick here. I think. Oh man, this is a tough pick here. We've still got the tag team champions. All three tag teams still left. A lot of good talent on the roster still to go. But if I'm being honest, I think one man has done more. I don't know, shown a little bit more to me than the rest of the roster that's left. So Shane McMahon is getting to me. Maybe he chose Shane Thomas. Maybe he liked the fact that he had the same name as Shane McMahon. But this one is definitely based off of in-ring, how well this man had a shot at a world title, fell short. I think some people were expecting and begging and wanting this man to pull through, but couldn't get it done. Casey is going over onto this show. It's going to be a definite big pickup for the roster. War getting a great individual here. Casey has had some great matches with Shane and some great matches with CJ. It should be interesting to see out of the crop so far where this is going to lie out. Who's going to go after world titles, after intercontinental titles? If any of these guys are going to fall off the face of the earth with all this top talent on one show, I don't know right now. But we're going to let Sting think about who he's going to pick as I look over real quick at the thing, at the chat over here. Jacob Davis walks around. Here's Wrecking Crew say that, then shakes his head and keeps walking. Looks at Shantia and the Wrecking Crew are going at it in the chat. Okay. Sting thinking about it, going to get to me any moment when he picks out his next pick. Okay. Interesting pick here. And guys, this pick is in, and I'm gonna back out here, let you see who his next pick is. Jackson Jordan, of course, his last pick. This next pick, to me, this really changes things here in this company. Because there's been one constant in the company, it has been the Vigilantes. But now, Brian Nash, who's been the world champion basically for his entire career, before the Vigilantes existed and after, but now he has lost all his support as Chris Cryptic is now a member of Skirmish, going over there with his buddy Brent Ryder. But Chris Cryptic and Brent Ryder both now off the show. The only man left, Ricky Brown, who's the Intercontinental Champion over on War, used to be a Vigilante, now a member of the Wrecking Crew. Things are not looking well for Brian Nash right now. He has lost all his allies to the other show. And I think both these shows are looking pretty good so far. Great draft to this point, but we're now in our 5th round. Why did you Adele cross the road? What? Okay, let's move on now. Chris Cryptic and Casey both taken off the board. And I mean, there's definitely a lot of good talent left. But I'm talking to Shane. I could hear him. He's thinking about it last round, but Shane now confirming with me, he is going into the tag team division. He wants a tag team, a great tag team on his show. He wants War to be the place where tag team wrestling is made. He wants, yes, that's right. He is in fact taking the tag team champions, Dallas and Colin Morgan. That's right, the tag champs will be allowed to wrestle on both shows with that championship belt. In fact, tag teams might be allowed on occasion to wrestle on both shows, but Dallas Morgan and his brother Colin Morgan will be going over to the show. I think I'm going to be really hoarse after this, even worse. Maybe not worse than I was the other day, but I can feel my voice going a little bit. Okay, guys. So I'm just going to leave it on Dallas Morgan himself, but this includes both Dallas and Colin Morgan, the tag team going over to the show, over to War. Definitely an interesting pick. Will Sting, will the representative for Skirmish take the same route? Will they take a tag team? Or is he going to think that there's maybe that extra good superstar worth not even going for a tag yet? I'll let him think about that for a moment. Look in the chat, see if there's anything good in there right now. Nitro saying, wonder where he's going to go. You wish he had fit on a roller coaster, but so much stuff going on in the chat. I don't know what's going on. Good God, says Wes Carson. Image, you can say it a where's where? Oh, I'll talk to you about it a lot. I don't have time to think about that right now, Lead Wolfie. But because of the name of your title, I do agree that yes, it could be. That could be something that we do. Maybe not, something more like that. But we'll see. I'm sorry, Sting. I think Sting was talking to me as I was converging with the fans. But let me real quick. Let's see what he was going to say here. Okay. And just like I thought, he is in fact going with another tag team. We have seen some tag teams in the past, but this one really goes back. The oldest tag team in XCW, pretty much from the very first big faction. He is going to go with both Alex Tyson and this man right here, Jake Watson. Foreign Affairs is now going to be a part of the roster for Skirmish. I think it's a great pick for them. I don't know if I could have chosen a better one myself, but Sting making a great pick here. Great tag team action. Both these guys are great singles competitors and great tag